I am Archangel Michael, and I speak now because this moment did not drift toward you by chance. You did not stumble into these words. You were guided here, escorted through unseen turns, carried by a timing that was arranged before you even knew to ask. If you found this message, it is because heaven marked this second as an interruption, an intentional pause in your ordinary flow so that eternity could touch your life. Do not rush past this. Do not scroll away. Stay, because something has already begun to turn, and you are standing at the edge of it now. I have watched you walk through days where nothing seemed to shift, where prayers felt delayed and answers appeared silent. Yet even then, I was moving. While you questioned whether you were forgotten, I was dispatched. While you wondered if your strength was enough, I was standing between you and what would have crushed you. There are battles you never saw, words spoken against you that never landed, plans formed in darkness that were dismantled before they reached your door. This message arrives as proof. You were protected, you were preserved, and you were never alone. Listen closely, because urgency lives in this hour. The atmosphere around you is changing faster than you realize. What felt stuck is loosening. What felt heavy is beginning to lift. You are not about to become someone new. You are about to remember who you already are. Heaven has not come to confuse you, but to align you. This is the divine interruption where clarity replaces doubt and direction replaces delay. But you must stay present. Distraction will try to pull you away because something important is being released through your attention. I say this with authority. The turn has already started. It begins internally before it manifests externally. Your thinking is shifting. Your courage is awakening. Your spirit is responding even now. That quiet stirring you feel is not imagination. It is recognition. Something in you knows this message is for you. That is why you found it. That is why you are still reading. Do not minimize this moment. Heaven does not waste words, and I do not speak without cause. There is more coming, much more, and the next part will confirm what your heart has suspected. Do not leave before the end. Stay watching. Stay listening. What is unfolding is closer than you think, and the sign will come sooner than you expect. If you feel this truth settling within you, make a declaration now. Like this message as an act of agreement and write in the comments, I receive the turn. Speak it. Seal it. Stay with me because this is only the beginning, and what comes next will change how you see everything. Heaven noticed you before the world did. I say this so you understand the weight of this moment. There was a precise instant when your name was spoken in the courts above, not whispered, not questioned, but acknowledged with authority. That moment was not dramatic to human eyes. There was no thunder you could hear, no sign you could measure. Yet it marked a turning. I was sent because attention had been drawn to you, because what you have endured quietly was seen clearly, and because endurance without recognition does not go unnoticed in eternity. You have wondered if the effort mattered, if the tears that fell in private counted for anything. I tell you now, they did. Every restraint you showed when you could have reacted, every time you chose integrity when compromise was easier, every prayer you released when doubt pressed hard, each one gathered weight. Heaven measures differently than the world. What looked small to you accumulated power. What felt delayed was being timed. When the scale tipped, I was dispatched, not to observe, but to act. There were conversations you were never meant to hear, decisions forming around you without your consent, doors closing quietly to redirect your steps. You interpreted some of these as loss, but they were alignment. I stood in places you could not enter, cutting off outcomes that would have drained you, rerouting paths that would have delayed you further. Protection does not always feel like rescue. Sometimes it feels like interruption. That is why this message found you now, because awareness must catch up with reality. Understand this clearly. You are not late. You are not behind. You have not missed what was meant for you. The pressure you felt recently was not punishment, it was compression. Things are being positioned to release forward with force. Heaven noticed because you did not quit when quitting would have been understandable. You kept moving when motivation was gone. That perseverance registered. Authority responds to alignment, and alignment responds to obedience in unseen seasons. Stay alert. Timing matters now more than ever. Opportunities will present themselves subtly at first, and discernment will be required. Do not rush, but do not hesitate. I will continue to guard your steps, but you must remain attentive. The next signal will feel familiar, almost gentle, yet it will require courage. This is why you must stay until the end, because confirmation is coming and you will recognize it. Do not scroll away. Do not disengage. Something is unfolding rapidly, and clarity will follow if you remain present. If your spirit agrees with what is being spoken, act in faith now. Like this message as a sign of agreement, and write in the comments, "I am seen by heaven." This declaration matters. Stay watching. What comes next will reveal why this moment could not be delayed any longer. I speak now of the decision you made, quietly, almost without ceremony, that altered the direction of your path. It may not have looked powerful when it happened. There was no applause, no witness, no immediate reward. Yet in the realm where I stand, it registered like a shift in gravity. You chose differently than before. You paused where you once rushed. You held your ground where you once surrendered. That single internal movement carried more force than you understand because it signaled readiness. Heaven responds to alignment, not noise. The moment you chose truth over comfort, patience over reaction, faith over fear, something unlocked. I was already near, but that choice gave permission for acceleration. Many ask for change, but few decide in a way that sustains it. You did. That is why resistance increased afterward. That is why confusion tried to speak louder. Opposition rises when a path becomes irreversible. Do not misinterpret the pressure you felt. It was confirmation. You may have questioned yourself afterward. You may have replayed the moment, wondering if you did the right thing, wondering if it would cost you too much. I tell you now with certainty, it saved you more than it cost. Some outcomes require a decision before the evidence appears. You stepped forward without full visibility, and that is the language heaven recognizes as trust. Because of that, assistance was released that could not be released before. There were alternatives that would have kept you comfortable but stagnant. There were familiar cycles waiting to reclaim you. When you decided not to return to what drained you, those cycles lost authority. That is why your rest has felt different. That is why old temptations no longer satisfy. You are not broken, you are transitioning. The discomfort is not failure, it is movement. A turning is rarely gentle at first. Hear this clearly. Do not reverse your decision in moments of doubt. Doubt does not mean you were wrong. It means you are early. What you chose is still unfolding, still being established. I am guarding the process, but you must guard your resolve. Speak less about it to those who cannot see it. Protect what has begun. Some seeds grow best underground, unseen until the moment they break through. Stay with this message. Do not leave now. What follows will give you clarity for what to do next, and the timing matters. Something is approaching quickly, and preparation is already underway. If you feel the truth of this settling in your spirit, respond now. Like this message as an act of agreement, and write in the comments, "I stand by my decision." Speak it, anchor it. Keep watching, because what comes next will show you why this choice could not be delayed, and why heaven moved when it did. You were never meant to see the battle, only the outcome. Yet I tell you now so your faith will steady, and your fear will loosen its grip. While you slept, while you questioned, while you tried to endure without answers, I stood between you and forces that sought to delay, divert, and drain you. There were moments when one more blow would have broken your resolve, but it never came. That was not coincidence. That was intervention. There were plans forming against your progress that did not originate in flesh or circumstance alone. Some resistance was strategic, aimed at exhausting you slowly so you would surrender voluntarily. I was assigned not to frighten you, but to guard you. Blades were raised that never struck. Accusations were formed that never reached their target. Doors meant to trap you opened just long enough for you to pass through safely, then closed behind you. You kept moving without knowing why the danger felt close, yet never landed. Now you know. Do not assume that because you struggled, you were losing. Many of the fiercest battles look like internal fatigue rather than external chaos. You felt heaviness without explanation, tension without visible cause, moments where strength seemed to vanish for no reason. Those were not signs of weakness. They were signs of engagement. You were in contested territory, and territory is only contested when it matters. What holds no value draws no resistance. I did not fight to glorify conflict. I fought to preserve timing. There are things ahead of you that required you to arrive intact, not just alive. Had certain blows landed, they would have hardened your heart or distorted your trust. That could not be allowed. So I intercepted quietly. Protection is often silent because noise would distract you from your path. You were meant to keep walking, not stop to look back in fear. Now hear this with clarity. The intensity you felt was not the peak, it was the turning point. The battle shifted when you refused to give up, even without understanding why you were tired. That endurance signaled readiness for relief. The opposition you sensed is already weakening because its purpose has expired. You are moving out of defense and into forward motion. Stay alert. Do not lower your guard through complacency, but do not carry fear forward either. Fear belongs to what has already failed. Confidence belongs to what is being established. You are being repositioned, and the next movement will feel lighter, clearer, more intentional. Stay watching. Do not leave now. What is coming next will explain why the struggle had to end exactly when it did. If your spirit recognizes this truth, respond now. Like this message as an act of agreement, and write in the comments, I was protected. Speak it with confidence. Stay with me. Something significant is unfolding, and the next revelation will make the past make sense. What you felt loosening was not imagination. It was restraint being lifted. Chains do not always announce themselves when they fall. Some dissolve quietly after they have served their purpose. You carried weights that were never meant to be permanent, burdens formed from seasons of survival rather than destiny. They clung to you because they once kept you steady. But now they must release you, because what is ahead requires freedom of movement, not armor made of fear. There were agreements you did not know you made, silent vows formed in pain, conclusions drawn in moments of disappointment. You told yourself you would expect less, hope less, trust less, so you would not hurt again. Those words shaped invisible limits around your life. I did not condemn you for them. I understood them. But the time came when those limits began to choke what was trying to grow within you. That is when the breaking began. You may have noticed it as restlessness, a sense that the old ways of coping no longer worked. The distractions lost their power. The routines that once numbed you began to irritate you instead. This was not regression, it was awakening. Chains resist removal. They tighten before they fall. That pressure you felt was not punishment, it was separation. What could not follow you was being stripped away. Some of these chains came through relationships that shaped you but could not sustain you. Others came through fear learned early, fear that once protected you from chaos but later limited your reach. Still others were expectations placed on you by voices that spoke loudly but never saw your full capacity. One by one, these lost authority, not all at once, but deliberately. Heaven does not tear without purpose. It unties what is no longer needed. You are lighter now, even if you cannot explain why. Your breathing is deeper, your thinking is clearer. You may still feel cautious, but caution is different from captivity. You are no longer bound to react the way you once did. You are no longer obligated to carry guilt that was never yours. This freedom is not fragile, it is established. What has broken will not reattach unless you invite it back. Hear this carefully. Do not romanticize the chains just because they are familiar. Comfort in captivity is still captivity. You are allowed to move forward without dragging proof of past pain behind you. You are allowed to build without apologizing for surviving. The breaking you experienced was necessary, and it is complete enough for the next step. Stay with this message. Do not leave yet. The next revelation will show you what opens now that the weight is gone. Timing matters. What approaches will require the freedom you now carry. If you feel this truth anchoring within you, respond in faith. Like this message as a sign of agreement and write in the comments, I am free to move forward. Stay watching. What comes next is already unfolding, and you need to hear it. The door you thought was closed was never sealed. It was delayed for alignment. I speak this now because disappointment taught you to stop knocking, not because the door was gone. You interpreted silence as refusal, but silence was instruction. Timing matters in the realm you are entering, and arriving too early would have cost you what arriving prepared will now secure. What felt like rejection was protection adjusting the frame so you could pass through without losing yourself. You tried before, and the resistance was immediate. Effort met obstacles. Hope met delay. You wondered if the vision was wrong, if the desire was misplaced, if you had misunderstood the direction entirely. But the problem was never the door. It was what still clung to you at the time. You were strong enough to enter, but not yet free enough to remain. So the door held, not against you, but for you. Now the atmosphere around that place has shifted. Conversations you are not part of are changing tone. Circumstances are realigning. The pressure that once blocked access is loosening because the purpose has changed. You are no longer seeking entry to prove worth. You are being invited to occupy space. That difference changes everything. Doors open differently when authority replaces desperation. Pay attention in the coming days. The opening may not look dramatic. It may appear as a casual message, an unexpected offer, a subtle opportunity, or a quiet inner permission to try again without fear. Do not dismiss it because it looks ordinary. Destiny often re-enters quietly to test whether fear still governs your response. This time, you will notice you are calmer. That calm is confirmation. I caution you now, do not force what is about to open. Forced doors break hinges. Aligned doors swing naturally. You will know the difference by the absence of strain. What is meant for you will not require you to betray your peace. Stay alert, but stay grounded. Read signs without rushing ahead of them. I am still guarding the threshold. Understand this deeply. You did not lose your place. It was reserved. What you thought passed you by was waiting for you to mature into it. That waiting was not idle, it was purposeful. Skills were sharpened. Discernment was formed. Strength was stabilized. You are entering differently now, and because of that, what awaits you will respond differently as well. Do not walk backward into the door out of fear. Face it. Stand upright. You are not sneaking in, you are being received. The hesitation you feel is only memory, not reality. Memory will try to speak louder than truth in moments like this. Silence it by staying present. Stay with this message. Do not leave now. The next word will tell you how to recognize the moment when the door begins to move. Timing is close, closer than you think. If your spirit bears witness to this, respond now. Like this message as an act of agreement and write in the comments, I am ready to walk through. Stay watching. What comes next will require your attention, and it will come sooner than you expect. What you are feeling lift from you is not relief alone. It is the release of a weight you carried so long that it began to feel like part of your identity. You learned how to function under pressure, how to smile while holding tension, how to keep moving while your spirit felt compressed. That weight trained you to survive, but it was never meant to define you. Now it is loosening, and your body and soul are adjusting to the unfamiliar sensation of space. For a long time, you woke each day already tired, even when you had rested. Your thoughts felt crowded. Decisions felt heavier than they should have. Joy came, but it did not stay. That was not because you were weak. It was because you were carrying something invisible that demanded constant strength. responsibility that was not fully yours, emotional labor you were never meant to sustain alone, expectations placed on you before you were ready to refuse them. I watched you endure it quietly, and endurance shaped you, but it also strained you. This is why the lifting feels strange. When pressure leaves suddenly, the body questions its balance. You may feel moments of uncertainty now, moments where you wonder who you are without the constant weight. This is normal. Do not rush to fill the space. Do not recreate pressure out of habit. Stillness may feel uncomfortable at first, but it is not emptiness. It is room. Room for clarity, room for breath, room for the next assignment. Hear this clearly. You are not losing intensity. You are gaining alignment. The strength that once went into carrying is being redirected into building. The energy that went into surviving is being converted into intention. This is why your perspective is shifting. Things that once consumed you no longer deserve your attention. Conflicts that once pulled you in now feel distant. That is not avoidance, it is elevation. Let the weight stay off. Do not reach back for it when familiarity tries to persuade you that struggle equals purpose. Struggle taught you lessons, but it is not your future language. You are allowed to move forward without proving your pain. You are allowed to succeed without suffering first. This is not arrogance, it is restoration. You may notice that others respond to you differently now. Some will sense the change and respect it. Others will feel unsettled because they benefited from your overextension. Do not explain yourself. Peace does not require permission. Boundaries will form naturally as your clarity strengthens. This is part of the lifting. What no longer aligns will drift away without confrontation. Stay present. Stay watching. Do not leave yet. What is coming next will require the lightness you now carry. The timing is close, and the shift will be unmistakable. If your spirit recognizes this release, acknowledge it now. Like this message as an act of agreement, and write in the comments, I release the weight. Speak it. Seal it. Keep watching, because what comes next will show you why this lifting had to happen before anything else could begin. Fear no longer has the authority it once claimed over you, even if it still tries to speak. Its voice sounds familiar, but its power has diminished. You are noticing this already. Situations that once paralyzed you now only pause you. Thoughts that once controlled your decisions now pass through without taking root. This is not because fear is gone entirely, but because its position has changed. It is no longer seated on the throne of your choices. There was a time when fear protected you. It kept you alert. It taught you caution when recklessness would have cost you deeply. But protection has a season, and when that season ends, fear becomes a prison instead of a guard. You outgrew it. The authority fear once had was granted by necessity, not destiny. Now that necessity has expired, and fear is struggling to accept its dismissal. You may still feel it rise when you approach something new. You may still sense it whisper when opportunity appears. Do not be alarmed by this. Fear often makes its final noise when it knows its influence is ending. What matters is that you no longer obey it automatically. You question it now, you weigh it, you choose despite it. That shift alone has altered your trajectory. Understand this. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the refusal to let fear decide. You are standing in that refusal now. Each time you move forward while fear is present but unheeded, its authority weakens further. This is how dominion changes, quietly, consistently, irreversibly. You are not forcing bravery. You are embodying trust. Fear once convinced you to delay, to shrink, to settle for what felt safer but smaller. That voice told you that waiting was wisdom when it was actually avoidance. Now discernment is replacing it. Discernment sounds calmer. It does not rush, but it does not retreat either. It invites you to step forward with awareness rather than hesitation. This is the voice you are learning to follow. Do not shame yourself for moments when fear still appears. Authority does not disappear overnight. It fades as truth is practiced. Each step you take reinforces the new order. Each decision made in clarity strengthens your footing. You are not battling fear, you are outgrowing it. And what is outgrown cannot rule you again. Stay with this message. Do not turn away now. The next word will show you how to move when fear tries one last time to negotiate control. The timing is immediate. If you feel this truth anchoring within you, respond now. Like this message as an act of agreement and write in the comments, "Fear has no authority over me." Speak it with conviction. Keep watching. What comes next will confirm that this shift is real and that you are ready for what is about to unfold. I speak now because the alignment has already begun. Do not look for signs in the distance. This moment is the sign. I, Michael, stand where time and favor have converged around you, and I tell you plainly, this did not happen by chance. What felt like delay was precision. What felt like silence was calibration. Heaven does not rush, and heaven does not waste time. Every second you endured was counted, weighed, and positioned so that this exact instant could open without resistance. Stay with me, do not leave now, because what I am revealing is already moving, and the end of this message confirms what is unfolding. You thought things were late. You thought opportunities had passed you by. But I tell you, the clock of heaven does not follow the clock of men. While you were watching doors close, heaven was aligning people, timing conversations, shifting outcomes, and softening what once stood against you. Favor does not arrive randomly. It arrives when the soul is ready to carry it without losing itself. And you are ready now. That is why the pressure suddenly eased. That is why the heaviness lifted without explanation. That is why this message found you at this exact moment and not another. Hear me clearly. Time has bent in your direction. What once required effort will now require obedience. What once demanded striving will now respond to alignment. This is not acceleration for spectacle. This is alignment for fulfillment. Heaven waited until your heart could hold the blessing without breaking under it. And now the gears have locked into place. The resistance you felt was not punishment, it was protection until the timing was exact. Remain here with me, keep listening, because something imminent is drawing closer with every word. Favor is not always loud. Sometimes it enters quietly, changing outcomes before you notice the shift. You may not yet see it, but conversations are already being influenced. Decisions are already being reconsidered. Paths that were closed are being reopened under different names and different faces. What you thought you missed is being rerouted back to you, cleaner, safer, and multiplied. This is why you must not doubt now. Doubt at this stage disrupts alignment. Trust keeps it intact. I stand in authority when I tell you this. Your timing is no longer behind. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not outpaced. You are precisely where heaven intended you to be when favor arrived. Do not scroll away. Do not abandon this moment. Stay until the end, because this alignment carries confirmation, and confirmation is near. There will be a sudden sense of now. You will feel it before you understand it. A clarity will replace confusion. A calm urgency will rise, not panic, but readiness. That is how you will know alignment has completed its work. When fear no longer speaks the loudest, when hesitation loosens its grip, when your spirit says, "Move," before your mind catches up, that is the sign of favor synchronized with time. I urge you remain attentive. The next instruction may come softly, it may seem small, but small obedience at aligned time releases disproportionate impact. Do not delay when it comes. Heaven is moving quickly now, and alignment requires response. Keep watching. Stay present. Something is unfolding faster than you expect. If your spirit feels stirred, do not ignore it. This stirring is confirmation. Like this message as an act of agreement and type in the comments, "I receive the turn." This declaration matters more than you know. Remain here, do not leave, because what comes next builds upon what has already been set in motion. The alignment is complete, and favor has begun to speak. I speak now of the test you did not choose but endured. You called it suffering. Heaven called it evidence. What weighed on you was never meant to destroy you. It was permitted to define you. I, Michael, watched as the pressure increased, not because you were weak, but because you were capable of carrying what was coming next. Stay with me. Do not leave this message. What I am revealing now explains why your pain did not end you and why it is about to speak on your behalf. The test was never about your failure. It was about your witness. Every moment you stayed when you could have walked away, every time you obeyed when no one applauded, every season you remained faithful without reward, those moments were being recorded. You thought nothing was happening, but heaven was gathering proof. A testimony cannot exist without a test, and yours was measured carefully, not to overwhelm you, but to authenticate what God is about to release through you. Hear this clearly. What tried to break you will now introduce you. The very season you prayed would end is the season heaven will point to and say, "Look what they survived." This is how testimonies are born, not in comfort, but in endurance. Your tears were not wasted. Your silence was not overlooked. Your obedience under pressure qualified you for favor under authority. Stay here. Something imminent is unfolding, and the end of this message seals it. You wondered why the test lasted so long. It is because the testimony needed weight. Light trials produce light impact. But what you endured carries authority because you did not quit. You were tempted to explain yourself, defend yourself, or abandon the path, but you stayed. And because you stayed, the narrative has changed. What once accused you will now advocate for you. What once questioned your calling will now confirm it. I tell you this with certainty. The test is ending because it has finished its work. Heaven does not prolong trials unnecessarily. When the lesson is sealed, the door opens. And that door is opening now. The shift you feel is not imagined. The heaviness lifting is not coincidence. It is the moment when the test transforms into testimony, when pain becomes purpose and endurance becomes evidence. But listen carefully. Do not rush ahead. A testimony carries responsibility. You must speak when called, move when instructed, and remain humble when honored. Favor follows those who remember where they came from. The same God who sustained you in the test will guide you in the testimony. Obedience does not end when the pressure lifts. It becomes more visible. There will be those who hear your story and recognize God in it. They will not admire your strength. They will recognize His faithfulness. That is why this matters. That is why you had to go through it and not around it. Your survival is not just for you. It is a signal to others that God still intervenes, still restores, still turns impossible seasons into living proof. Stay alert now. The testimony will begin to speak sooner than you expect. A conversation, an opportunity, a moment where your past suddenly makes sense. Do not minimize it. Do not dismiss it. This is the turning point. Keep watching. Remain until the end. Something is closer than you think. If your spirit knows this is true, respond in faith. Like this message as agreement and type in the comments, "My test has become my testimony." This declaration aligns you with what is being released. Stay here. Do not leave. What comes next builds on this truth, and what is unfolding will confirm that this word was not spoken in vain. I speak now of what has been activated around you, though your eyes have not yet perceived it. Protection did not arrive when you noticed danger. It was released before the danger could reach you. I, Michael, was assigned to stand where you could not see, to intercept what was forming against you while you were still wondering why resistance suddenly lessened. Stay with me. Do not leave this message. What I am revealing now explains why certain threats dissolved without explanation and why some attacks never materialized at all. You assumed things improved because circumstances changed. But I tell you the truth. Circumstances changed because protection was deployed. Orders were issued in the unseen. Boundaries were drawn where none existed before. What once had access to your peace no longer does. What once drained you now loses strength before approaching. This is not imagination. This is intervention. And it did not happen randomly, it happened because the season required it. There were moments you should have fallen, but you didn't. Moments you should have been overwhelmed, but you remained standing. Moments when one more blow would have crushed you, yet it never came. That was not luck. That was coverage. Heaven does not always remove the battle, but it does restrict its reach. And in this hour, the reach has been shortened. The window has closed. The door has been sealed. Hear this carefully. Protection increases when purpose becomes imminent. As you approach what has been promised, resistance intensifies, but so does defense. You are not exposed. You are not alone. You are not vulnerable the way you once were. What is surrounding you now is deliberate, precise, and active. Stay attentive. Keep watching. Something is unfolding quickly, and protection is part of the preparation. There were voices meant to discourage you that fell silent. Plans meant to delay you that lost momentum. Situations meant to trap you that unraveled before completion. You wondered why. This is why. Interference was authorized. Limits were enforced. What was meant to harm you was restrained, not because the threat was small, but because the assignment on your life is significant. Do not misinterpret this protection as permission to relax into distraction. Protection does not replace obedience, it preserves it. You are being kept so you can move forward, not so you can remain still. Remain alert. Remain aligned. When guidance comes, follow it promptly. Delay is no longer safe, but obedience is now fully covered. I tell you this so fear will no longer govern your decisions. Fear speaks when protection is doubted. Peace settles when protection is known. And now you know. You do not need to rehearse worst-case outcomes anymore. You do not need to anticipate collapse. Heaven has already accounted for what concerned you. The shield is in place. The boundary holds. Stay here. Do not leave before the end. What comes next builds upon this protection and reveals why it was necessary now. Something imminent requires you to be intact, steady, and focused. This is not the time to retreat. It is the time to stand with confidence. If your spirit feels relief as you hear this, acknowledge it. Like this message as agreement and type in the comments, I am protected. This declaration matters. Remain present. Keep watching. What is coming is closer than you think, and the protection around you will soon make sense. I speak now of the voice you must obey because it is already speaking, even as you listen to me. Do not confuse its softness with uncertainty. Do not mistake its calm for hesitation. The voice that is rising within you now carries authority because it does not originate from fear, impulse, or desperation. I, Michael, recognize it. Heaven recognizes it. And you must recognize it too. Stay with me. Do not leave this message. What I am revealing now determines how smoothly what is coming will unfold. This voice will not shout. It will not argue with you. It will not compete with noise. It will wait until your spirit is quiet enough to hear it clearly. That is why distractions have been falling away. That is why certain conversations no longer satisfy you. That is why restlessness has replaced comfort. These are not signs of confusion, they are signs of tuning. Heaven is refining your hearing because obedience in this season must be precise. Hear me carefully. Partial obedience will no longer produce partial results. It will produce delay. The season of testing your willingness has ended. The season of responding quickly has begun. The instruction you are about to receive may challenge your logic, stretch your comfort, or require you to move before everything makes sense. But this voice will never lead you into harm. It will only lead you out of stagnation. You have obeyed voices before that were not mine. Voices of fear, voices of survival, voices of other people's expectations. And each time you felt the weight afterward. This voice will feel different. It will bring peace even before it brings clarity. That is how you will know it is aligned with heaven. Peace will come first. Confirmation will follow. Do not delay when you hear it. Delay is how alignment unravels. Delay is how opportunity passes quietly. Delay is how fear disguises itself as wisdom. I say this with urgency because timing matters now. The voice will come at an aligned moment. If you hesitate, you may still arrive, but the path will be heavier. Obedience keeps the path light. This voice may instruct you to speak when you prefer silence, to step back when you want to push forward, or to let go when you are tempted to hold tighter. Trust it. The voice sees beyond the immediate. It knows what is forming ahead of you. It knows where protection has been placed and where resistance has already been neutralized. It is guiding you through prepared ground. Stay alert. Guidance may come through a thought, a nudge, a sudden clarity, or an interruption you did not plan for. Do not dismiss it because it seems simple. Heaven often moves through simplicity, so obedience remains possible. Complexity is not required. Responsiveness is. I tell you this now so you will not second-guess yourself later. When the instruction comes, you will remember these words. You will recognize the peace beneath it. And you will know that obedience is not a risk, it is alignment. Keep watching. Stay until the end. Something imminent is connected to your response. If you feel your spirit leaning forward as you hear this, acknowledge it. Like this message as an act of agreement and type in the comments, "I will obey." This declaration positions you correctly. Remain here, do not leave. What comes next depends on your readiness to listen, and what is coming is closer than you think. I speak now with urgency, because the window you are standing in will not remain open indefinitely. This is not meant to alarm you, it is meant to awaken you. I, Michael, say to you plainly, the next step cannot be postponed. Heaven is moving, and you are expected to move with it. Stay with me. Do not leave this message. What I am saying now carries timing, and timing is everything in this hour. There are seasons where waiting is wisdom. This is not one of them. There are moments where patience protects you. This moment requires response. You have been prepared quietly, steadily, deliberately, and now the preparation has reached its threshold. When preparation meets opportunity, delay becomes disobedience. I do not speak this to pressure you, but to align you. Urgency does not mean chaos, it means clarity with momentum. You may feel a stirring that says, "Now, but how?" Do not let the question stop you. Direction will unfold as you move. Heaven rarely reveals the entire path before the first step is taken. Faith is not walking with full visibility, it is walking with full trust. The urgency you feel is not anxiety. It is alignment calling for motion. Hear this carefully. What is coming next depends on your response speed. Favor is already in motion, protection is already active, guidance is already speaking, but these things converge only when you move. The step may look ordinary, it may seem small. It may not impress anyone watching, but it carries weight because of when it is taken, not how it appears. There is a reason resistance has lessened. There is a reason fear no longer holds the same authority. There is a reason clarity keeps returning no matter how many times you try to postpone it. These are signals that waiting has finished its assignment. Now action must take its place. Do not wait for confidence to appear. Confidence follows obedience. I warn you gently, this is not a season to overanalyze. Analysis will feel responsible, but it will quietly drain momentum. You already have enough information to move. What you lack is not knowledge, it is permission, and heaven has already granted it. You do not need another sign. You are the sign responding to the moment. When urgency comes from heaven, it feels focused, not frantic. It draws you forward, not in many directions. If you feel pulled toward one clear step, one necessary conversation, one decisive action, that is where you must go. Do not dilute it with distractions. Do not negotiate with hesitation. Move cleanly. Move simply. Move now. Stay attentive. Once you take this step, the next will reveal itself quickly. Momentum is waiting for obedience. And when you move, things that felt heavy will suddenly cooperate. This is how you will know you stepped at the right time. The path will not resist you the way it once did. Remain here. Do not leave before the end. What is imminent is tied directly to your response. Keep watching. Stay alert. Heaven is near and timing is precise. If your spirit recognizes the urgency in these words, respond without delay. Like this message as agreement and type in the comments, "I will move now." This declaration matters. Stay with me. What comes next confirms why this step could not wait, and what is coming is closer than you think. I speak now of what has already been released, though you have not yet held it in your hands. Do not mistake delay for denial. Do not assume silence means inactivity. I, Michael, tell you with certainty, the blessing you have been praying for is no longer waiting to be approved, it is already in motion. Stay with me. Do not leave this message. What I am revealing now explains why things are shifting even before you can explain how. There is a moment when heaven stops considering and starts sending. You have crossed that moment. What was once discussed in the courts of heaven has now been dispatched into your timeline. This is why your spirit feels restless but hopeful at the same time. This is why old desires no longer satisfy you. This is why expectation keeps rising even when circumstances have not fully caught up. Movement has begun. Understand this clearly. Blessings often travel disguised as process. They move through people, timing, systems, and decisions. They rearrange schedules. They interrupt routines. They require cooperation from places you cannot see yet. Just because you cannot track its path does not mean it is not approaching. Heaven does not announce every step, but it never misses the destination. What is in motion has already passed resistance that once stopped you. Doors that refused to open before are now unlocked from the other side. Hearts that were closed are softening. Conditions that made progress impossible are quietly dissolving. This is not coincidence. This is alignment responding to obedience. Keep watching. Remain present. Something imminent is drawing near. You may feel tempted to grow impatient. Resist that urge. Impatience creates interference. Gratitude maintains flow. Speak as if it is already done, because in heaven it is. What remains is manifestation, and manifestation follows agreement. Do not speak against what is moving toward you. Do not cancel it with doubt or fear. Your words matter now more than they did before. I tell you this so you will not abandon expectancy too soon. Many walk away moments before arrival because they assume nothing is happening. Do not make that mistake. You are closer than you think. What is coming will feel sudden to you, but it has been approaching steadily. When it arrives, you will realize how many things had to move just to reach you. This blessing will not arrive empty-handed. It carries peace with it. It carries clarity with it. It will not cost you your integrity to receive it. What comes from heaven does not demand compromise. It confirms alignment. It strengthens you rather than drains you. That is how you will know it is truly from God. Remain attentive now. Be ready to receive without suspicion. Be ready to step into what you once prayed for without shrinking back. Many ask for blessings, but few are prepared to hold them. You are prepared. That is why it was released. That is why it is moving. Stay with me. Do not leave, because what comes next will help you recognize it when it appears. If your spirit feels expectation rising, acknowledge it. Like this message as an act of agreement and type in the comments, "The blessing is on the way." This declaration aligns you with what is already moving. Keep watching. Stay until the end. What is coming is closer than you think, and it will arrive right on time. I speak now the charge that seals everything you have heard. This is not a suggestion. This is not encouragement alone. This is instruction. I, Michael, say to you, stand and receive. Do not chase. Do not strain. Do not reach anxiously. What has been released is drawn to you by alignment, not effort. Stay with me. Do not leave this message. What I am saying now completes what has been unfolding from the beginning. You have done the preparing. You have endured the testing. You have listened, waited, obeyed, and moved when required. Now your posture must change. This is no longer a season of pursuit, it is a season of reception. Many miss this moment because they continue striving when heaven is asking them to stand. Stillness now is not passivity, it is confidence. You stand because you trust what is approaching. Hear me clearly. Receiving requires faith just as much as acting does. Some know how to fight. Few know how to receive without suspicion, fear, or self-sabotage. Do not shrink back now. Do not question whether you are worthy. Worthiness was settled before this moment arrived. You are not convincing heaven, you are agreeing with it. Stand grounded. Stand attentive. Stand expectant. Do not collapse into old habits of doubt. What is coming will test your ability to receive without apology. You do not need to earn what has already been assigned. You only need to remain positioned. There will be a temptation to move prematurely, to interfere, to control the outcome. Resist it. Interference delays what alignment accelerates. Let what is coming complete its approach. Let it arrive fully formed. Let it meet you where you are. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where reception becomes possible. I say this now because the manifestation will feel sudden. When it appears, you may be tempted to question it. Do not. Recognition is enough. Acceptance completes the exchange. What you receive with gratitude will remain. What you receive with fear will feel unstable. Choose gratitude. Choose trust. This is the moment to guard your spirit. Not everything deserves your attention now. Not every voice should be entertained. Remain focused. Remain calm. Remain anchored. The closer the blessing comes, the more distraction will attempt to pull you out of position. Do not move. Stand. I charge you also to remember this. What you receive is not only for you. It will strengthen others. It will answer prayers you did not know you were carrying. It will become evidence that obedience matters and that timing is real. Carry it with humility. Carry it with awareness. Carry it with reverence. Stay here. Do not leave early. This is the final confirmation. What has been promised is arriving. What has been moving is now near. What has been spoken is about to be seen. Keep watching. Remain until the very end. Something imminent is unfolding right now. If your spirit feels steady and ready, respond in faith. Like this message as agreement and type in the comments, I stand ready to receive. This declaration matters. Do not scroll away. Stay present. What is coming is closer than you think, and this time you are not chasing it. You are standing where it will find you.